Morning, everybody. Hey, in the first video of this series, we talked about what the self-reinforcing program subconscious belief system is in each one of us, how it forms, and how it shows up in some pretty basic everyday life situations. And today, as we transition from what this belief system is into how it affects us as leaders, I want to touch on three things today. One, I want to touch on cognitive bias. Two, I want to do a very brief introduction into how this belief system impacts our ability to effectively lead. And then I want to touch also on self awareness and how self awareness plays into all of this. So I was first introduced to the formal term cognitive bias about 10, 12 years ago. And before then, I had an idea of what it is, as most of us do. I just didn't have a formal term or a formal definition for it. So, what is cognitive bias? Well, according to the internet, I'm going to read this. A cognitive bias is a systematic pattern of deviation from norm or rationality and judgment. Individuals create their own subjective reality from their perception of the input. An individual's construction of reality, not the objective input, may dictate their behavior in the world. Thus, cognitive biases may sometimes lead to perceptual distortion, inaccurate judgment, illogical interpretation, and irrationality. Okay? Now, think about it. That is exactly what your belief system creates. It creates a subjective perception of a person or circumstances based on how your mind, your subconscious mind, tells you to react or think based on your individual programming from birth until today. Okay? So if you're questioning the validity and power of this self reinforcing subconscious belief system and how it can and does easily influence you without your awareness, you now know it's very real and it's recognized both professionally and legally. Okay? Makes sense? Now, expanding the idea of this belief system a bit more, I want to share how it begins to impact a leader's effectiveness. Now, remember we said everyone is evaluating everything going on based on their own programmed subconscious belief system, which is programmed based on their personal experiences since birth. And it happens instantly without you consciously thinking about it. And this belief system is self reinforcing, meaning we test, challenge, confirm, modify, and reinforce it every time it engages. So think about everything you've experienced in your day today, every day this week, every month, every year. Each of these little or big things are automatically run through your belief system, either reinforcing or questioning your beliefs and opinions, and you accept these things as true, real, or possible, or false, not real, or impossible. Now, think about everyone on your team experiencing the exact same thing, reinforcing or questioning their beliefs and opinions. Not only you, but every person you come into contact with is being influenced and affected by their own subconscious belief system, and everything that happens to each person throughout the day is being run through this system, influencing their thoughts, words, and actions. This includes everything you as a leader says to them and every nonverbal cue you give them. If you remember back to an earlier video on words and communication, 93% of all communication is nonverbal, and this is one area where it comes into play. The actual words you are using are really only a very small part of the total communication. The rest is made up of posturing, voice inflection, hand gestures, facial expressions, tone, pace, on and on, which all feed into the other person's subconscious program belief system. As the leader, you're communicating to others, including verbal and nonverbal. Each person is either accepting, rejecting, considering, or questioning everything coming from you, and it's all based on their subconscious program belief system. Do they believe what you're communicating to them, verbally or non-verbally? Do they trust you? Are they listening or have they shut you down? Do they care about what you're trying to inspire in them or the team? Do they buy into the message at an emotional level, or is it simply intellectual? Will they follow your guidance and direction? Will they support you or will they undermine you? It doesn't take long to understand what you're up against as a leader and why there's such a gap between the truly effective leaders and everyone else. Look, part of your responsibility as a leader is setting the team's tone, vision, adapting to market conditions, embracing technology improvements, planning for growth, challenging the status quo, countless others, which all include and require change, or at least an openness to change, right? But if you don't understand how this programmed subconscious belief system works, how it's affecting you and each person on your team, you're always going to be fighting, driving, or trying to motivate change versus inspiring change. So, how can you or I, as a leader, contend with this belief system in every person on your team? I mean, it's a challenge. How can you get someone who is shutting your ideas down simply based on their own internal belief system, which may or may not be based on current reality, definitely has been built and reinforced throughout their lives? So I'm going to go deeper into how this all plays into your own personal change and inspiring change in the next couple videos. And today was really only meant as an introduction of sorts with much, much more to come, which brings me to the last point for today. Now look, you can't change yours or someone else's programmed subconscious belief system overnight, but you can be aware that it's there. And you can bring awareness to it through your leadership style. So, as a leader, how would you go about doing this? Well, the answer is always going to be found within self awareness. Now, we're going to talk in depth about self awareness in a future video, but I want to open the door to the idea of self awareness here and touch on why it's such a significant aspect of leadership. And it's one of the reasons why there's such a discrepancy between quality of leaders today. Self-awareness is understanding yourself, right? What's happening within you on a subconscious, emotional, mental level. For example, are you closed-minded? Are you judgmental? Are you opinionated? Are you really the person you think you are? Do you really believe what your natural reactions are saying about you? Are you really the product of your own subconscious belief system? How would you know the answers to these questions? Think about it. You might tell yourself you're open-minded and not opinionated, but is that what you're communicating to other people? How much of your communication, verbal and nonverbal, is being driven by your own program, subconscious belief system? These are all critical things to think about, and we'll get into this deeper in another video, but I wanted to introduce you to these things today. So I'm going to stop right here and let you think about all this and how it may be playing out in your life before we go deeper down this path. So let's kind of recap what we covered today. Yours and everyone's programmed subconscious belief system is self-reinforcing all day, every day. Cognitive bias is an outcome of this programmed subconscious belief system and affects our opinions and decisions. 93% of your communication is nonverbal. Others use their programmed subconscious belief system to evaluate your communication, including the nonverbal. Your team is using their own internal programmed subconscious belief system to accept, reject, consider, or question what you as a leader are trying to communicate, either verbally or nonverbally, especially when it comes to change. Self-awareness is required to understand how this programmed subconscious belief system is affecting you and anyone around you. In the next video, I'm going to talk about change and how this programmed subconscious belief system has such a dramatic impact on your ability to change yourself before we talk about the ability for you as a leader to change your team, change their ideas, change their opinions. In my first video of this series, I said this would be the single most important concept I can share with you, and hopefully you're starting to understand why I believe this to be true. Everything begins with you as an individual, and if you don't understand yourself, why you're doing what you're doing, you can never truly lead others through inspiration versus simply motivating them for short-term, short-lived movements and results. So maybe for the next several days, pay attention to your own reactions to things that are happening to you. your emotional reactions, your physical reactions, and try to identify when your subconscious program belief system is driving these reactions. Pay attention to it. Seriously, pay attention to it, because this has a dramatic effect on your ability to develop as a person and a leader. Well, thanks for watching today. And if you like this, you might think about following my channel on YouTube. You can follow me on LinkedIn, where I post other things on a regular basis. And the link to my book through Amazon is down below as well. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.